IT. So they can go ahead and start.
All right, good morning. Welcome to the Marshall County Board of Supervisors regular session here, January 28th, 2026, in the courthouse meeting room. Notice to the public, the Board of Supervisors welcomes comments from the public during time allowed for discussion. You're requested to approach the podium right over here, use the microphone, and that's for recording. State your name and address for the record and limit the time used to present your remarks in order that others may be given the opportunity to speak. The normal process on any agenda item is for the chair to read the item on the agenda. The board's given an opportunity to comment on the issue and or place a motion on the floor. An opportunity for discussion may be presented, at which time the public may participate and a roll call will follow. We'll start with the roll call, please.
Heil?
Yes.
Hibbs? Yes.
All right. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda today?
I will make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
I will second. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Hibbs? Yes. Heil?
Yes. Service awards. Boy, this is a strange honor. I guess I've been here 15 years, so I get a certificate for being here 15 years. I got to sign it myself even. How about that? So, what an honor, 15 years, and it's gone by very fast. 5 years. Tabrina Eggleston, Sheriff's Office, Patrol Duty, and Sherry Kokenauer, Veterans Affairs, from our County Veterans Service Officer. So, I don't think Sherry is here. We got Sherry.
Yeah. Maybe.
Sherry, you want to come on up? Kevin, is there anything you want to say about Sherry, or does her work speak for itself?
He'll go around. Yeah.
You want to be embarrassed?
No, keep it short.
Keep it short.
You want to jump in the picture, Kevin?
Do I?
Yeah, please.
Really?
Come on.
Get up there?
Closer.
Closer. We do? Just that when Sherry stepped in a little over 3 years ago, it's just been a great having her on board with the Veterans Affairs. Just an awesome job that she does. Just great having her over there. She does an incredible job. I wish all the other 98 counties had someone like her on there with her admin knowledge and her ability to do what she does. She sure taught me a lot admin-wise, and I've taught her a lot VA-wise and dealing with the veterans. So just great having her there. The 3 years have went by quick for her, and with me retiring this year, and she's gonna stay on another year, it's just great having her there. She does a great job. So thank you, Sherry.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Is Tabrina here? All right. Is there any words you want to say? 5 years. Thanks, Pat. Well, we thank Tabrina for her years at Patrol Deputy in the Sheriff's Office.
Well, I will take the opportunity to present Jarrett with his 15-year one, so.
Thank you.
I think this deserves some recognition.
Thank you. All right.
Thank you for your public service. 12 years as treasurer
Yes.
and 3 years now as supervisor, so thank you for your dedication.
Well, thank you. It's been a wonderful 15 years. And like I said, how did it go by that fast? I have no idea. So Marshall County is a great place to be. And we got great people here, of course, with Sherry and Tabrina as well. And glad I get to share today with them. So.
You're in good company.
Yes, thank you. All right, to the consent agenda. Approve previous regular session minutes, January 13th, 2026. Approve claims as audited and authorize the auditor and recorder to issue payment of the same. The listing of claims paid at this meeting and all claims paid in the current month will be published as part of the first meeting of the following month. Reappoint for Civil Service Commission. Let's reappoint Mark Braga to the Civil Service Commission. Term dates January 1st, 2026 through December 31, 2031. Reappoint Daryl Templeton to the Civil Service Commission, term dates January 1st, 2026 through December 31st, 2031. And our personnel changes today. New hire Benjamin Matthew Thomas, Sheriff's Office Deputy Sheriff, $30 per hour to start on or after February 1st, 2026. Status change, Nicholas Mason Gold, Secondary Roads, Truck Driver 1 to Truck Driver 2 at $32.37 per hour, effective January 31st, 2026. Status change for Omar Rico Alba, Secondary Roads, Truck Driver 1 to Truck Driver 2 at $32.37 per hour, effective January 31st, 2026. And status change, Tyler Chase Stanley, Secondary Roads, Truck Driver 1 to Truck Driver 2 at $32.37 per hour, effective January 31st, 2026. And we have the reappointments for Zoning Commission and Board of Adjustment. Our reappointments are reappoint Eric Bidwell to the Board of Adjustment, term dates January 1, 26 to December 31, 2030. Reappoint Pat Van Onen to Zoning Commission, term dates January 1, 2026 through December 31st, 2028. And our appointments appoint Steve Solasic to the Board of Adjustment for the remainder of Rick Lance's term from January 1, 2026 to December 31st, 2027. File the Audit Recorder's quarterly report from October to December 2025 for a total of $72,022.55. And that is the end of today's consent agenda.
I will make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I will second. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Hibbs,
Yes.
Kyle,
Yes. Number 7, discussion on public hearing on proposed tax levy.
So, we, on our original schedule, we have this listed as March 25th, and that is a regular board meeting date, and that is not allowed by the update a few years back to have it during our regular board meeting. So we're kind of trying to figure out when we want to do that. You know, we discussed a bit about having it in the evening or a later time, alternate time, that way. But I do know last year, it ended up the city and the school here, theirs was at the exact same time. So we definitely don't want to do that. Because that isn't very conducive to taxpayers being able to attend those budget meetings. So, you know, we could do.
Do you think a noon hour would be appropriate?
That might be a really good time to allow people that way. Even a 5 o'clock, probably not a Monday, would be an okay thing to do as well. You know, doing a Tuesday on one thing Maria mentioned was like the 24th or something. We just have to do it after the 20th is our only
Okay.
rule on that because of the mailing going out. And I know there is legislation right now by, I can't remember if it's the House or Senate, I think it's the Senate, to discontinue the mailing. So who knows?
What about the 26th on the Thursday, if you're looking at a 5 o'clock time frame?
That would work for me.
Maria's in the office, so,
What do you think, Maria?
yeah.
The only thing will be, I will have to check the calendar because I have to send the publication to the newspaper. And I think that's either the date that it needs to be published for the, well, maybe not.
Can we do it the same day as the 25th, but a separate meeting?
Yes, we
So
can.
we
the
can do that.
5 o'clock
Yeah,
on
we
the
could do a 5
25th?
o'clock.
On the
That will
25th?
I'm good with that.
That would
Yeah,
work better
I'm
on the
good with that.
25th.
That
Do
sounds
we
okay.
get, now I know that's a Wednesday, so do we get into church events on a Wednesday?
I think if we do it at 5 o'clock, we should
can
be
get ahead of it.
okay.
That would
Ahead
be-
of,
On
you-
Tuesday.
Would Wednesday, what time do your church events? 6, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I will make it work.
Yeah, so that would, yeah.
Either Wednesday or Tuesday.
Tuesday or Wednesday would be better.
Yeah, Wednesday works better for me.
Okay,
So, yeah.
okay,
If
so
you
we'll,
guys want to do it at 5, then, yeah, I will make it work.
Yeah,
Does that work?
okay.
let's do that.
Okay, this was just a discussion, so it lets her allow to proceed, and we'll get it updated on our schedule as well, and then she can work all those publications and everything. And we can add that to our letter, because that's got to be on the letter information as well.
And the date the letter is supposed to go out
The 15th is when it needs
It's
to
the
be
very
out.
last day.
The very last day.
is
It
the
can be-
15th.
Yep.
Yeah.
It can be prior to that. Right now, we've just left phone mails back and forth and emails with Master's Touch, and right now we're looking at the 12th, but I wanted to just actually meet and talk, and we haven't got that part done yet. So, phone tag with someone in Arizona, so.
Okay.
Okay,
All right,
thank you. You can go upstairs.
March 25th, 5 PM. On to number 8, approve State of Iowa Alcohol Beverage Division License Renewal, Jensen Golf LC, LC 0040617, doing business as the Harvester Golf Club.
I will make a motion to approve the State of Iowa Alcohol Beverage Division license renewal for Jensen Golf LC 0040617, doing business as the Harvester Golf Club.
And I will second that. Is there any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Yes. Kyle?
Yes. On to number 9, approval to contribute $500 to and support the Marshall Lincoln Highway Heritage Byway app. Is there anyone here? Yes. Come on up.
Yeah.
Right up there, please.
Please.
Looks like it's on. My name is Jeannie Howe, and I am the Lincoln Highway Heritage Byway, a National Scenic Byway coordinator. I work for Prairie Rivers of Iowa. It's a nonprofit, and we contract with the Iowa DOT for my time and travel is all. As you all know, the Lincoln Highway was the first planned, improved, and promoted route in the United States from New York City, Times Square, to San Francisco. In Iowa, that means Clinton to Council Bluffs, sorry. And for you guys, it means right out that door, right? So anyway, I am proposing an app that can be downloaded in Apple Play as well as Google Play so that the GPS is much better. I inherited an app from the Iowa Valley Scenic Byway. So they pay for the base of the app, but it would be an additional $500 a year to make it downloadable, which isn't bad, but it has a $2,000 startup fee. And then also I would need to hire a student to do the work for the app. So that initial $1,500 is already covered, and then I'll like approach a bank or someone to sponsor the $500 a year after this. So it's a one-time ask. So far, I have Story County and Pottawatomie County were on board right away. Greene and Boone are as well, but they're discussing it with their budget. Tama said yes, but then they decided to put it under their economic development. And the others I just need to follow up with. So, any questions? That was a little
So you
briefer
said
than normal.
Five
One
One
time
time
ask.
500
Yeah.
is all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, I was splitting it between the 13 counties so that, because there aren't very many grants out there that will fund the entire state. Everybody wants to just fund their city or county.
Okay.
So I thought, well, let's approach each county board of supervisors for $500 and get it going. So,
What's the timeline? I think-
well, most of the funds wouldn't come in until July, so I would start it in July.
Okay.
And hopefully,
It wouldn't take very long to get up and
right.
going.
Right.
Yeah.
And the other benefit is I would have links to your tourism and your places to eat, your places to sleep, because itineraries are really important in tourism and
Yeah.
especially.
Have you
Lincoln
talked with
Highway.
our tourism director at the chamber?
I have not yet.
Okay.
Because there are 43 communities, so I thought it'd be easier to do the counties, which I'm still following up with several as well.
Okay.
So,
I don't see Alex here today, but we could connect them. Yeah,
Great.
yeah,
I think it's something we just get out of our economic development
that's what
line
I
item.
was thinking too. Yeah.
For the
So-
new year, it sounds like it's for, would you want the payment before July 1, or could it be
Does it
after?
matter?
it can be after, yeah. They're telling me to send an invoice in June for
Yeah.
the July payment.
So we can choose,
we
we can
can
pay
pick.
out of either year?
Yeah,
All right.
yep,
Yeah, sounds good.
okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I will make a motion to contribute $500 to support the Marshall Lincoln Highway Heritage Byway app.
I'll second that. Is there any further discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Hibbs,
Yes.
Kyle,
Yes. All right. On to discussion and possible acceptance of EMS consultant report.
Good morning. My name is Christopher Cross. I'm the fire chief for the city of Marshalltown. And the de facto chair of the EMS task force that's been convened to study a problem or study for a solution to a potential situation that exists with the delivery of EMS in the county. This working group has come about following some meetings that happened in the February to April timeframe in 2024 that Unity Point invited stakeholders and policymakers and elected officials in to talk about the status and future of EMS in Marshall County. With the emphasis on declining volunteerism, perhaps in some of the outlying communities, their situation and how the hospital is operating, and through those conversations, other conversations developed about Unity Point's possible desire to alleviate themselves from the 911 transport responsibility for Marshall County because of a economic loss to their organization to the tune of about $1 million. Carol Hibbs, Supervisor Hibbs, and I had some informal conversations out in the world, and we started to brainstorm a path forward to figure out a solution to solving the EMS problem for Marshall County long-term and sustainably. So we decided to put together a working group. We started meeting in August of 2024, towards the fall of that same year. And we decided that we needed to put kind of a cross-section of leadership and stakeholders in the county, comprised of the city officials, county officials, and Unity Point at the table to try to brainstorm to figure out a way to ensure a system moving forward. We did a lot of forming and storming and norming, as any new group does, and we decided that we needed some objectivity and we needed some sort of a reference document that we could present as a disinterested type third party could study our problem and study our landscape for us and give us some recommendations moving forward and some financial projections on what it would potentially cost and whatnot. And today is the day that we would like to present the report to you for your acceptance. I think what the report clearly documents is that we have a high call volume here in the county. There's a large geographic area to cover. It's about 573 square miles of district for an ambulance service to provide care and transport to sick and injured people in Marshall County. There's a system that relies heavily on first responders and volunteer type input and service from community members that is integral to the success or failure of the EMS system. The volunteer component can't be understated. It is absolutely necessary for the success of a successful EMS system here in the county. These realities reinforce that the status quo as it exists today in Marshall County is not sustainable and inadequate for future EMS delivery. The report, just to summarize, the report outlines 3 distinct options and paths out of the forest here for us. The task force recommends the unified city-county governmental approach where the county is the fiscal agent and is able to put an EMS as an essential services levy together to the county to see if we can generate funds to be able to pay for the system. The city would be a partner to the county in administering the system. And we feel that we as the task force feels that would be the most efficient model. Another option that the consultants gave us was to create an EMS service at the county level, create a department of the county and stand up their own EMS service on their own, which would be at a much higher startup cost than the intergovernmental city-county relationship, or we could do the EMS services, essential services levy and subsidize UniPoint for their service, and keep things as they are currently. The value of this report is we see it lays out cost considerations, projects revenue, and has staffing requirements and equipment requirements. It also highlights the importance of local control and local delivery and local accountability if it were a city-county governmental partnership. What this report does not do, supervisors, is it doesn't pigeonhole you into a binding decision by accepting the report. It does not account for all legal and labor or intergovernmental complexities that exist that we would need to seek legal counsel to find our way through. And it doesn't reflect, any of the negotiated opinions or positions with the city as it pertains to labor groups or anything like that. It just gives us a baseline level to start the planning and implementation process to constructing an EMS service that we would fund, manage, and administer to the public to do good by them. So what I'm asking today from the supervisors is, number one, I would love for you to accept this report in as complete and the task force recommendation. I would love for the supervisors to coordinate with the Marshalltown City Council for a joint meeting so that you could discuss this back and forth across the 2 governmental elected bodies. And then after that joint meeting, I would love for the council and the supervisors to create consensus and advise the task force on what our next steps are, or what your intentions are, what your desire is for the task force as we proceed. Or maybe we don't proceed. It's up to you. And I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have from the board or whomever.
So I'll just chime in since I was a member of the working group. I appreciate Chief Cross's leadership in this. It's been kind of a winding road here as we've tried to gather information. I appreciate Fire Chief Fonce's
Would you like me to go through the list of the?
input from the
Sure.
State Center area and
Yep.
the service that they provide to a lot of the western part
Yeah.
and northwest part of the county. So if you would highlight like who's represented.
Yes, absolutely. I apologize for not.
And then, no, that's okay. And then perhaps a little bit about the process that went into building the report,
Sure.
like the interviews and
Yep,
who they
absolutely.
talked to. Okay.
Yeah, so the working group for this task force, like I had mentioned earlier, and I apologize about glossing over. I know in no way want to diminish the leadership and effort that everybody's put into this. From the county, it was Sheriff Phillips was on the panel, Supervisor Hibbs, and Emergency Management Kim Elder was a part of the working group and representing the county government. Myself, then Counselor, now Mayor Lottie Hoff, and Carol Webb, the city administrator for the city of Marshalltown, were on that working group as well. Sherry King, who up until recently is the hospital president or CEO, she's taken a position in, I believe, the Quad Cities where she's filling in as an interim, doing something. And there's another executive by the name of Ron Alston who subbed in for Sherry, representing Unity Point when she was unable to participate, was also part of the working group. So all of the stakeholders, Unity Point, who currently has the responsibility of EMS transport for 911 scenarios in the city, the county government and the city government. Also, there were some subject matter experts on the volunteer fire EMS service in Marshall County. Chief Brad Fonce is the fire chief for State Center. He was on the working group, and he has an EMS transport responsibility in an EMS division in his fire department. So he was kind of a subject matter expert that we wanted to pull in. And Jacob Patterson is the fire chief from Gilman, and they also have an ambulance and are authorized to transport people from the field to the hospital. And he's a subject matter expert on his fire department and his volunteer fire EMS situation. So we thought that those opinions and perspectives were important to decision-making and planning. So I thank the committee so far for all the hard work that they've done, and this has been a great project to be a part of so far. Now, kind of what we asked the consultants to do is in our RFP, we asked them to interview members of the EMS system throughout the county in various positions, elected officials, city councilors, township people, providers, line level people, to get kind of a sense of what the situation in EMS is from everybody's kind of perspective. We also asked them to put together kind of a comprehensive snapshot of what does the EMS system currently have and how busy is it. And they did that in the report. And we also asked them to give us some examples with a financial projection on startup costs, revenue generation through essential service levy, and then EMS billing based on average cost per call, how many billable runs per year can you expect out of that particular call volume. And they were able to give us pretty conservative expenses and a pretty accurate revenue projection on what we could expect for as the system becomes operational and starts to perform. They gave us a pretty accurate number that is consistent with industry standards on what we could expect for expenses and revenue.
Yes. And as our emergency manager, management director has said multiple times, Kim has said multiple times, this problem is not unique to Marshall County. It's actually a nationwide problem.
Yes, I would agree with that statement wholeheartedly. And I think that the things that we are proposing, the task force is proposing, I think the concept is not novel, but I think the way that we're going about doing it is innovative and awesome. And I'm excited to be a part of it.
And collaborative.
Absolutely, 100%.
Question?
I'm willing to accept the report today. Thank you for all the work on that. I know this has been a long time
Yes.
coming on the work on this.
It's
And
one step
It's one step. We got a long ways
Yeah.
to go on,
Really
on
do.
what comes out of this. And obviously, you talked about having a levy that goes to the voters, so there's a whole thing that goes with that as well. And,
Yes.
And proving ourselves of the plan. And whenever you're talking about levy, everyone gets worried about that's more property taxes, and that is a true case in this situation. But at the same time, we're talking about a problem of the future of our EMS
Right.
and making sure that we have a
Critical
pathway
services.
to having that. And so that's the balance that we have to look at as leaders, but it's the balance that our people have to look at too when it gets to that point. So thanks for the task force and this report giving options.
Yes.
And something that we need to be accountable to is what's the most efficient way of going forward with this, and that we're getting those services to the people. That's critical. That's the number one thing. So we got a long ways to go, but this is a good starting point.
Might be, may I please provide a little bit of context as to why a levy would be necessary?
Please.
So there is no, currently in Iowa code, there is no statutory requirement for municipalities to provide EMS coverage to their citizens. It's always, and Unity Point has done this since 1969. They've had no mandate statutorily to do this, but it's been, I would say that it was a moral mandate and a compassionate mandate that.
And somewhat of a unique situation, because it doesn't happen very often.
I think
That
at the
a
time.
hospital provides this service
I
to
think
the-
at the time
to the
that
residents, yeah.
they initiated that type of service out of Marshalltown Hospital, MMSC, and then later subsequently Unity Point. I think in the or the late 60s, early 70s, when EMS became prevalent in the United States as a secondary effect of the Vietnam War, where hospitals, mortuaries, funeral homes, that sort of thing, they were the initial EMS providers. Hospitals and funeral homes were the initial EMS providers, where they would roll out with their hearse, pick up the patient, throw them in the back, and run them to the hospital. Would be the first kind of first aid or advanced first aid type of EMS system that the state of Iowa had seen. Fire departments became kind of the default provider for EMS. County systems, our standalone county systems are prevalent in Iowa. And as time marched forward, less and less hospitals were involved in the EMS business. And so because there's no state mandate and it's not an essential service as the police department and the fire department, they are essential services, and they're mandated by state code that municipalities provide those two things to their citizens. It becomes a financial necessity to either be private and bill for profit, or convert systems to a municipal tax-based driven service, the same as police or fire. So we would need to do that in Marshall County because it's not essential, and the state of Iowa has not designated EMS as an essential service and codified it in state code. Each individual county has to do it on their own. So we as a group of citizens have to go to the polls and say, yes, we believe that EMS is an essential service, and we want ambulances to come to our house when we're sick or injured, or our family has been sick or injured, or we get into a crash, or we get tangled up in a farm implement or something like that. There is no one to answer the call. If Unity Point I'm not insinuating that Unity Point is going to pull the trigger, shut the valve off on us. I don't get that feeling at all, and I fully trust Unity Point in the administration and delivery of the service today, as I always have. They do fine work, but I think that everybody is seeking a change on both sides of the fence.
Well, and Chief Cross, there's a misconception, I think, that for every 911 EMS call or ambulance run that Unity Point makes, that they are able to bill for that.
That's
And
correct.
That's
That is not
not
the
correct.
case.
As a
Absolutely not.
hospital-based service.
Yes.
They are limited in what they can recoup
Yes.
for costs.
That's correct. We have, as a municipal EMS system, has the, I want to say latitude, or has more choices or different and deeper tools to be able to recoup costs and generate revenue to sustain operations. So the levy is about half of the equation, and billing for service is another half of the equation. There are lots of things that municipalities can do to recoup costs on the billing side of things that private entities or not-for-profits can't do. We can utilize a system called GEMT, which helps to supplement non-billable things from Medicare. We can use income offset and do a few more. We have a few more tactics in our tool belt to be able to help create revenue and to be able to sustain operations than a not-for-profit does. I am not a hospital billing expert at all, but I believe that the way that they're hamstrung on the way that they bill their services for EMS, and they include them into their ER stay, and they'll never be able to realize or recover the potential of EMS billing because by virtue of the fact of the way that they are. And I know that sounds weird, and I don't know any other way to say it other than that. So that it's no question, or it's not. It seems rather obvious that they are in the situation that they're in because they're limited.
Okay. Do you have?
I think another key point is we talked about that it's, not mandated in the state of Iowa, and I
Right.
think through the years, when you had high volunteerism,
Yes.
it took care of itself.
Absolutely.
And as we're going into this shortage of volunteers,
Yep.
that's how we're getting to this point that we're at. So if you do not have volunteers to do it, you got to pay for it, and this is that avenue. So
And I think there's a high level of expectation of service as well.
correct.
The public expects. And I don't think they would ever think about it if they didn't have to use it. I don't think they would ever think about it. But I'm here to tell you, it's reflexive. When people get into trouble, they will call 911, and if there's nobody to show up, then that's a problem. And we would like to be able to fix that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I will make the motion that we accept the EMS consultant report from Iowa EMS Consultants.
I'll second that. Is there any other further discussion on this report?
I'll just add a comment that the cost of the report was shared between the city and the county.
Can I make a couple comments?
Yes, please.
Kim Elder, Marshall County Emergency Management Coordinator, and glad to be on the task force. Chris did a great job explaining to Marshalltown on Monday night and again here. There's just, like you said, so many moving parts. Asking about EMS in the past, it started here in the county as a county service when the hospital was a county hospital. I'm old enough to remember Mock. My dad worked there and was one of those that used years ago the funeral services and the hearse to bring patients in. So, we go way back here, but, it wasn't essential then, but it was new and it was exciting and people were jumping on board, and as it became more expensive to run those ambulances and the businesses owned the hospitals, you can't do business losing, $1 million a year. That's just impossible. Businesses don't do that. So Unity Point has done a great job of continuing to run and still, not making any money off of a lot of those calls. So, and then on the other side, first responders, we're seeing some resurgence of volunteerism, which is good, but it's not where it was years ago. The volunteers are essential. Like Chris said, it's something that we still recruit for, and there's a lot of great volunteers out there, but there's just not enough to go around, and that goes for a lot of different services. But EMS not being funded is part of that. It's like you both said, when we call 911 and ask for an ambulance, we expect that there, not realizing, the public doesn't realize that it is not something that is required to respond. Fire and law enforcement are required to be there or to respond to that, but EMS isn't. And so that first step is, looking at this and do we want EMS as an essential service? There are a lot of counties, we polled it initially during the task force startup, is how many counties have EMS as an essential service, voted that in using a levy to do various things. And there was no right answer or no one answer to how to fix this. And so that's, again, where the task force came in. And like Chris said, there was so many options on the table as a task force to how do we do this, where do we go, here's the answers from other counties. But getting that report, it was important just to see, what are our viable options. Whether it's one option or a combination of those options, at least we have some options on the table, and it helps us narrow it down. It helps the government entities too that, ultimately have to make that decision. And then the taxpayers too, that have to make that decision. Do you want an ambulance to respond when you call 911? I think the answer is yes, so how do we do that? And how do we get there? So I think that's important. I think that's it. I think it's the main thing is just reminding the public that, we're not trying to just spend dollars and create something new. We're trying to take what we have and make it better. We have a
And
good
sustainable.
system. Right. We have a good system. We just have to figure out how to make it better and, like you said, sustain it. So that does take money like everything else. But ultimately, we're doing this to better our process and to save lives. It's not to find another way to spend tax dollars, right? So, all right.
Thank you.
Thank you,
You're
Kim.
welcome.
Any other discussion? All right, we have the motion and the second. Roll call, please.
Yes. Kyle?
Yes. Thank you for that. Number 11, discussion and possible action to approve previously discussed added services for the jail sheriff's office ARPA emergency exit stairwell. Morning, Lucas.
Good morning, Lucas Badke, Buildings and Grounds. I still have a couple of questions out to OPN on this that I'm waiting for answers on, so.
Okay.
If we just table it, I think that's
Or-
probably the route to go at this
We'll
point.
put it on next, on the February 11th.
Okay.
That seems
Sounds
weird
good.
to say February 11th. That seems like it should be a long ways away, but
It's not.
is what it is.
Yeah.
2 weeks, wow.
Do we need to make the motion to table this item, or
Or just not take any.
No
We
action?
will take no
and
action today, and,
Okay.
We'll bring it up in
because
the
if you
11th.
table it, then it could be like there forever on the table and
No.
die there or
I want
something.
it on the table.
Clean the table. All right.
Lay on the table.
Number 12, accept bid of an approved lease to Chad Southard Farms LLC for the Klonberg Prairie Reserve Crop Ground. The Marshall County Conservation Board accepted sealed bids at the MCCB meeting on January 12th, 2026 for the cash lease of crop ground at the Klonberg Prairie Reserve at $250 per acre, 85.75 acres, 3-year lease effective. That would be April 1st, 2026 through March 31, 2029 for $21,437.50 per year. And we have Emily online here. If there's anything you'd like to share on this?
It's years now. The land was donated to us by Klonberg, and one of his requests was that it was a combination of farming and conservation practices. So we have been putting this out to lease. The land actually has prairie strips that goes through it to help with conservation and soil erosion. And it's a lower bid, but I think that's kind of expected at this point in time, I would say. So we had received 2 bids, and this was the highest bid.
Great. Thank you, Emily. Any questions for Emily? Thanks for being on today, Emily. We appreciate it. Is there a motion to approve?
I will make the motion to accept the bid of and approve lease to Chad Southard Farms LLC for the Clownburg Prairie Reserve Crop Ground. The Marshall County Conservation Board has already accepted the sealed bids at the MCCB meeting on January 12, 2026 for the cash lease of crop ground at the Clownburg Prairie Reserve, $250 per acre, 85.75 acres, a 3-year lease effective April 1st, 2026 through March 31, 2029 for a total of $21,437.50.
I will second that. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Yes.
Yes. All right, now to number 13, public forum, time set aside for the public to make comments on topics of county business other than those listed on this agenda. No action will be taken on any of these topics brought up in public forum today.
I will share that we are still accepting applications for the appointment of Board of Supervisor. That will be through tomorrow, January 29th at 4:30 p.m. Please reach out to me by phone or email, and I'll get you all the information you need for that application process. So you can call or get a hold of any of my staff, and they'll hunt me down. But we got the 1099s printed yesterday, so I should be around.
You might want to remind them who the committee is.
Committee is myself, Jordan Gaffney, and Deanne Tomlinson. We will be doing interviews on February 4th, and we will plan on having a new individual sitting in the chair by Jarrett on February 11th.
Oh, that's great. Well, thanks for all the work on that. It's, just one extra thing to add at the beginning of this year as we're doing budgets and all the tax stuff that we got to do, but we appreciate it, and we look forward to who the candidates are and how we move forward.
Yeah, we've had 11 show interest.
Wonderful.
3 have pulled their names off of those 11, after they got information, and one unfortunately had a family member with a health concern they've since learned, which is always sad, but yeah. But was very excited that we had that much interest.
That's great.
So, yeah.
Other public forum today. All right, on to adjournment. Next regular session is scheduled for Wednesday, February 11th at 9 a.m. at the courthouse, first floor meeting room, 1 East Main Street. All business to be acted upon at that session should be submitted to the County Auditor Recorder's Office or the Board of Supervisors office via email to the board clerk by Wednesday, February 4th, 2026 at noon. There being no further business to come before the board, the meeting is adjourned at 9:48 a.m. Make it a great day. Thank you.
Do you have anything for signature?
Yep, the personnel.